Hey guys, what's up? So in this video, I wanted to show you how to properly use subsequences to book in more meetings with cold emails. So for those that don't know, subsequence is essentially like a mini email drip campaign. So after the initial email from the prospect, let's say they've responded to, so let's say you've sent an email, they've responded back, but then you're not hearing anything from them, right? And you maybe have followed up like manually, or in the past you followed up manually. But subsequences, basically what you're able to do is set them into a separate sequence that will follow up for them automatically, obviously, and follow up with them automatically. And I wanted to show you here how you can probably use subsequences to really book in more meetings, um, and really help you out in terms of converting and just having a system in place to be able to actually properly follow up with people rather than relying on doing it completely manually, because you might forget, you'll let things slip through and everything like that. So subsequences can be really good for that. Excuse me. So the structure that I normally have is normally I'll have 4 to 6 steps. So yeah, 4 to 6 steps. But the goal here is to make sure that every email after email one is very valuable in some kind of way. So the way that we normally do it is the first email that goes out in the subsequence. So this is, they've responded to your initial email from your first like separate sequence. They've responded and said, sure, send me this thing. You've sent them the thing, right? The lead magnet, whatever it is. You followed up, but they then haven't responded. This is when you then use the subsequence. And then this would have 4 to 6 steps on top of that. So normally the first email might be like, hey, did you have a chance to check this thing out? Right? Because they might have got busy, whatever. They've already engaged with you, so it's okay to kind of give them like a little bump in that sense. But from that point onwards, you want to make sure that every email after that is super valuable in some kind of way. So you need to add value to the initial lead magnet that you already sent them. So if you sent them, for example, like in our case, we sent them like a lead list. If I've sent them a lead list already, I might say, hey, here's some ideas around copy that you could use to help reach those prospects in your lead list, right? So you are basically helping them implement the thing that you already sent already. So you see how that's adding some more value in like a different way that's not exactly the same thing, saying, hey, here's the thing again, here's the thing again. You want to have it like that. So think about it in the sense of, with every step, you want to have a different idea of how you could implement the initial thing that they responded to. So if you sent them a lead magnet around X, figure out ways that you could help implement them. You can then create sales assets around those things, and then you can send those to people and say, hey, did you have a chance to check this thing out? Wanted to make sure that you got the most value out of it. Here's something that actually helps you implement it better, right? Or here's something else that can also help with doing that. So that's the way you want to think about it and way you want to structure it. And then also increase the amount of time between follow-ups. So I don't just have 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. I'll have like 2 days, then maybe 3 or 4 days, then maybe 5 or 6 days, then maybe 7 days. And you want to increase the amount of time, just because you don't want to be bombarding them. At least in my experience, like I just don't want to be bombarding them personally. But if you want to, go ahead. But that's just not how I choose to do things. I'd rather do it in like a more slow way. Maybe it's not the right time exactly just yet, or maybe they forgot, or all these different things, but they have engaged with you. So definitely follow up, definitely do it several times, because they have engaged and they have like registered some level of interest. So just keep going, because we've been able to literally book in meetings, land clients from doing this kind of stuff with subsequences. So it works. But increase the amount of time between your follow-ups. So the first one would be 2 days, then 3 days, then 4 days, and so on and so forth. And then the second thing is have a new subject line and thread after every sort of 2 to 3 emails. So you might only do this like once or twice in your actual subsequence, but what this does is just can help with the prospect understanding like, hey, they haven't responded to your first email, they haven't responded to like 2 or 3. It just basically shows them that, hey, you haven't just like plastered them with messages after messages after messages. It shows them like, cool, there's 2 or 3 in a thread, but then you'll start a new thread, start a new subject line, and just say like, hey, I noticed you engaged with us a while ago around X. Just want to follow up and just here's something that could help you implement it, right? But in a different angle. Or, hey, just wanted to also share, we recently got this one for this client, or here's a video on how we did it. Or, hey, I haven't really told you about who we actually are. Just, I know that you maybe don't trust us. Here's some case studies, or here's some reviews and Google reviews, or things like that. Different ways that you can build trust, build any of those kinds of things. Here's a video on who I am, right? Like literally any of these kinds of things is a different way of adding value, or a different way of like, hey, trying to get their attention. But you just don't want to overblast them with like, imagine you were to have an email sequence or an email thread and you just have like 10, you've got one email that you've sent, but then 10 from the other person in one thread. It just doesn't look right. So try and re-thread it, re-subject line it, and just keep the subject line to whatever you're actually sending out. So yeah, hopefully this video was useful. It's definitely helped us massively with booking more meetings for ourselves and clients. So yeah, feel free to give it a shot and kind of like test it out. I might do some more in-depth videos and stuff like this because it is actually part of the basics that really help with cold email stuff. So yeah, thanks for your time and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.